In this video, I am going to be going to use FSD and I will drive through a construction zone testing the capabilities of FSD. Right now, I am trying to exit the driveway in reverse, but there are objects too close around me, so I will have to take over driving instead of allowing FSD to back me out. I've learned that you can't be too close to a curb or too close to an edge or anything, otherwise FSD doesn't like it. So I waved goodbye to my daughter and I hit the open road, manually backing up before I'm ready to let FSD take over again. So I'll have to put the car back in drive. I'm letting it do the auto predictive shift to go from reverse to drive for me by completing the turning the wheel and braking. I have FSD on and we're off. The car sees the stop sign right away, so I don't have to worry about it. I was spending too much time staring at the GPS because I was checking out the route it was going to take, and I got a little nagging. So when the screen tells you to touch the wheel and give it a little shake, that is the technical term for Tesla's nagging system. But the more you use it, the better you get at it. One of the things I've learned, a cautionary tale for you, is to be careful not to wear a hat, especially a low riding hat, while using FSD. Um, for some reason, that camera that looks at you, it needs to see your eyes. Ironically, sunglasses aren't a problem. I've seen people on YouTube talk about how sunglasses are a problem, but for me, I've never had an issue wearing sunglasses. I wear them all the time. But right now it's early morning, so there's no sun in my eyes, so I don't have to worry about it. But hats, I also like to wear hats, and hats are a big no-no. Whenever I wear a hat while driving, the nagging constantly yells at me, so I end up tipping the hat back. So sunglasses over hats. It sees the stop sign again. We got the little truck, a big semi. Here, actually, if you see my foot shake, it's because I was about to touch the accelerator pedal. I was going to encourage the car to go before the truck, but the truck kind of did more of a rolling stop. It didn't really stop. So I let the truck go first, and I didn't intervene with what FSD was doing. Well, FSD does a good job of doing everything you need it to do while you're driving. There are other tips that you can do to kind of help things along. So I mentioned at the stop sign, I was going to tap the accelerator. So you can do that to give the car encouragement. Also, sometimes FSG just randomly goes awkwardly slow in certain areas, and you're not quite sure why. By touching the accelerator pedal, it doesn't turn off or affect or do anything negative to the FSD system. I don't recommend flooring it the whole time because then you're just not letting the car drive. But every now and again, it's nice to give it a little tap, and it helps it get up to the max setting that you might have it set to. And it helps encourage it when it is at a stop sign with multiple cars or different scenarios. Right now, you can see we're entering into a construction zone. The truck's going to take a right here, so FSD is slowed down, even though there is a green light ahead for me. Car goes on through, and it is monitoring the traffic. So even with the cones and it forcing the car to move around the construction cones, FSD, I don't really understand how it works, but it does a really good job of scanning the road and checking for the changing lanes. So we're not quite there yet, but coming up ahead, it will get to the point where FSD needs to adjust in transition. But for now, we're still just cruising along in our lane. Here you can see we cross the center line. You would think that'd be a big no-no with FSD, but it's seeing the yellow or the orange cones and it knows that this is the correct path it's supposed to take. So even though on the display, on the heads-up unit, it shows we're on the wrong side of the road, Tesla knows that it's doing the right thing by following the orange cones in the construction zone. This is something I haven't driven before, and I haven't used AI to correct its behavior. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner, I have some dash cam footage because I'm just kind of showing what the Tesla sees, especially here as we go back across the double line and it's got to go to the right. It's a big open area. I don't know how the car knows to go to the right to keep going straight, but it does. And I was impressed by that. So I hit the left button on the wheel. I pressed it to save the dash cam footage to help kind of show that moment, an impressive FSD moment. Here we are getting close to the end of the construction area. All it has to do is come forward through these lights and we're done. But it is a red light, so Tesla's seeing the signs, seeing the lights, and coming to a stop and waiting for my turn at the intersection. This is actually one of my favorite features on the Tesla, whether you're using FSD or not, but being able to look at that display screen and see what the car sees. The fact that you not only get to see traffic moving, but you can see the stop signs and the stop lights. If you ever actually pay really close attention, you can actually see the brake lights turn on the little cars in the display screen. So when the car in front of you brakes, tiny little brake lights come on. So it's just showing you that that's what the car sees. So if you didn't know that, by the way, if you're ever wondering what can your Tesla all see, that is what the display is kind of for to an extent. It's showing you what the car sees, which I always thought to be a pretty neat feature. Light grows green and we're off. And it's changing lanes by itself, which is quite nice. You can, by the way, use blinkers in FSD mode. So whenever you're cruising down a road or a highway, if you flick your blinker, it doesn't always listen to you. Sometimes it ignores you and stays in the lane, but sometimes it'll allow you to change lanes. Kind of like touching the accelerator, it's through encouragement. But I have a right turn coming up ahead, so Tesla is getting into the correct lane and moving over for me in advance. It was nice that it watched the traffic through that last intersection that was coming up, and now it's slowing down for the nice frontage road. The frontage road is a bit more higher pace speed, which is nice. Sometimes I like to press the accelerator in here. The fun thing with these electric cars is how fast they are. Tesla does it nice and smooth. It gives you a little bit more distance. You're just kind of wasting battery when you're accelerating fast, but I don't know, it's also a lot of fun. So when I get onto these frontage roads, even though I'm in FSD, sometimes I like to push the gas to really make it speed up. And if you do it too much, it will tell you on your screen. If you're using the accelerator pedal in FSD mode a lot, it'll give you warnings on your display. It'll say things like car won't brake while the accelerator. I forgot what the actual verbatim words are, but it's basically saying if you keep holding the gas and something pops out, the car's not going to brake for you. It'll let you crash into it. So you got to make sure that when you are pressing the accelerator pedal that you are being cautious and paying attention to what's around you, and it's not just speeding, it's also safety, all the crash avoidance. Coming up to a speed change here, there is a reduction in the speed limit, and Tesla, this is an interesting point because of the fact that by law you're supposed to reduce your speed before you get to the speed limit sign. And that's why you have those yellow diamond signs in advance that tell you to slow down. And then you're supposed to be at the new speed before you hit the white speed limit sign. I haven't noticed Tesla's doing that. They just kind of keep going and they ignore the yellow, warning speed limit reduction sign, and they just wait until you hit the new sign and then they slow down. So that's something to pay attention for if you live in a place that has very hypercritical law enforcement on traffic. If you need to slow down before the sign because you think you might get in trouble, then you might have to manually intervene with either the brake or using the right scroll ball. If you don't want to drive yourself, you can use the FSD scroll ball, the right ball on the wheel, and reduce your speed before you get there to just kind of head things off. And when you change speed limits in FSD, it kind of resets your max speed all the time. But my car is entering the roundabout. There was a car on my left, but I had enough room to go before them, so it wasn't a problem. And here we are entering into the next area. And we're at the end of my destination. This was my first video trying to narrate or dictate over an FSD video.